Wait, we'll start with Justin and then David.
How would you describe or tell the story of Ringel Murphy and how you guys were able to get in here?
T-Mac. Him and T-Mac are really close. They've been friends for a while. When it came to a point where he was in the portal, we did our due diligence with the film review, the evaluation process. We did a good job with, making sure we're recruiting him and communicating. We did the background check. We also had, a bunch of people that had connections with him and his family. So we were able to have the opportunity to be able to get him on campus. And once we got him on campus, it was pretty much a done deal at that point.
And what has he shown you at camp so far?
Toughness and experience. He's very even keel. I think his personality fits within the room. He's able to show up every day as a pro. His preparation is always on point, and he shows his experience through his play. He does a good job with the remainder of the group too, with keeping everybody's spirits high and communicating well and understanding that we all going to have to play a role within this offense to be able to have an opportunity to be as good as we want to be.
David and then Brian.
Bobby, just obviously without T-Mac out there, it's always been a next man up mentality in football. So who were the guys that you wanted to be those next men up going into camp to really step up, and who have been those guys?
It's really not who I want it to be. It's more or less who's going to show up. We've really made this a true competition within the room. Been very transparent with everybody. People obviously know where T-Mac is and his ability and his opportunity to be able to play and play at a high level. With that said, we need other guys that's going to be able to give him a spell and give him a break on the football field, and obviously to play across from him. Other than that, if you just have him, it's easy to double team him. So, I put the challenge to the whole room. Not only the guys that I think that could play outside, but the guys that think they could play outside. If they feel that way, I'm going to give them an opportunity, and I'm going to believe in them until they show us something different. And then we're just going to continue to move guys around. We're constantly fluid with the depth chart right now. Guys are playing multiple positions. There are some guys that I feel like are their skill set is set to play in a specific position. So I'll make sure that they're available for those certain plays to be able to get the time on task with the quarterback and timing and all these type of things. But it's an open competition, and we're going to continue to keep it that way until guys start to separate themselves.
A.J. Jones has been a guy who's kind of been on the cusp for the last year or so. What does he have to do to take that next step to put himself in the conversation to be one of those rotation guys?
It's tough to play from the front, right? To be the guy. And as of right now, with T-Mac down, that position, that X position, is really exposed. So, I'm giving AJ his fair opportunity to be able to play that position, like I'm giving Devin Hyatt, Rex Haynes, and even Jackson Holman, that opportunity to be able to step in and have their opportunity to play there. For AJ, I just would like to see him be the guy. It's tough because T-Mac sets the bar so high, but that's the position, and that's what is required of that position. So for him, he just needs to continue to be consistent, continue to make the contested catches, continue to use his size and his length to his ability. I think he's doing a good job of taking the coaching with the technique stuff. A lot of the things are new to him that we're talking about within that room, but I think he's doing a good job of trying to grab a hold of it and put his best foot forward.
Brian and then Michael.
When you have a guy like T-Mac who is going to be a starter, who's going to be in there once he's ready to participate, how do you keep him involved and with all the install and all that when he's working on the side to try to get himself back up?
He's spending plenty of time in the classroom with me. He's consistently in my office. We're consistently talking ball. He's in every meeting, so he's not missing any of the installs. He also has a special ability to be able to see a play and apply it on the football field. I noticed that in the spring, the moment I got here. Not really concerned with him being able to catch up to speed. More concerned with him, understanding that he's going to need some help this year. And he's actually accepted that, and that's why he's really. If you notice him in practice, he takes his time to be able to pull guys to the side and talk about some things that he sees, things that what he would do specifically in those situations, which is extremely helpful to me because I've been so far away from the game. I'm actually playing the position. There's nothing more powerful than having a guy of his stature and his ability to be able to grab a younger guy and be able to speak to him about what it feels like, what the process is, and what you need to be doing in a specific situation.
Well, and on that note, because there was a Jacob Cowan here last year, which enabled T-Mac to have more of an opportunity to break out, how important is it to have that very strong number two so that they're not just double, triple teaming?
Yeah, that's extremely important. And I think we will err on the side of having more of a 2 and a 3. I think we have a good group of rotations guys. There's some good redshirt sophomores that are ready to play. They might lack the game experience, but what they've shown me is they are ready. And, I'm going to continue to push them to be ready. Obviously, we never know none of that until the ball rolls out and we're ready to play. But my belief within the group is that we have a strong group of 6 to 7, maybe even 8 guys that are going to be able to rotate and help this team win.
Michael and then Jason.
How has T-Mac handled the rehab process? Seems like you guys are all doing kind of fun stuff, and he's doing not fun stuff. Has he been patient? Has he been engaged? How would you?
I would describe it as a pro. He handled it like a pro. It's always tough to be away from that because especially at a young age like him, you start to question all these type of things. Can I still do it? Am I going to be able to play at the high level? But you can see his focus in his rehab and his ability to want to push himself within the rehab as if it's, preparation for a game and preparation for practice. He's, again, in every meeting, he's always on time. He's one of the earliest guys in the buildings. So he is still handling it like a pro. And that's his job right now. Until it changes, that's what his responsibilities are, and he's taking care of it.
Jason and then Troy.
What are your impressions so far of Jeremiah Patterson?
He's what I thought he was. I think we did a really good job with that evaluation process. We really took our time with Jeremiah. We didn't jump on that right away. In our spring recruiting process, we really were able to get out. I saw him live. I've watched every single one of his games, probably every single one of his reps. The final piece was being able to see him live and work out. When I got out there to San Mateo and watched him work, it was immediate for me, and that's what I needed to see. And so he's bringing exactly what I wanted him to bring to this offense. I also feel like there's going to be more that I could be able to give him sooner than later, which is great. I think his learning curve is outstanding. He's doing a great job of really attaching himself to Noah and trying to ask the right questions and get all the knowledge and the information that he needs to be able to fit within this offense. I'm excited to see him play.
Troy and then Justin.
A couple of questions first with Jeremiah. We've seen him kind of as the punt returning role, kind of working with you back there. What have you seen out of him there, and how difficult is that for a player to pick up if he's never done it before? I don't know if he has, and what kind of experience does he have in that?
Yeah, that was one of the questions I asked when I was looking for a player like Jeremiah. Has he done punt returns, and is he willing? Because that's the biggest thing. Guys love to go out there and catch punts before practice, but when you're the solo man back there for a game, it's a really difficult position to play. You got to play with a lot of confidence. I think he carries himself with a lot of confidence. I think he's comfortable back there. And again, this is all speculation until we get to the game situations. But I think it's a position he could play. I think he can help us back there for sure.
And then in terms of a rotation, is there a number that you guys want to get to for the season? Is that the numbers or just next man up kind of mentality until you see game action?
It's always next man up. You always got to take that approach just to be able to, to give everybody their fair shot out and their fair opportunity. But, I think we'll be comfortable with the rotation of, 6, 7 guys. And if there's an 8th guy in there that, is showing us a lot, then, it's all predicated based off of what they show us. If they're showing us that we need to play them, we will play them. I think Coach Brennan has done a great job of, making sure that we have an obligation to play the best players and, to be able to protect the program. That's what you have to do. And this whole team as a whole, I think, has really adopted that mentality that the best guys will play.
Justin and then David.
It seems like Jeremiah's really good at separation, What do you attribute that to?
His quickness, and then just his experience. You know, you could tell that he's played a lot of football, and his ability to be able to get in and out of breaks really helps him. He plays with a lot of confidence. He really trusts his hands, which is a big deal too, because it allows you to get edges on guys and not worried about having to be in a perfect spot all the time, because you can make up for it with a big catch radius and strong hands. But, he's really done a lot with like taking the coaching and really focusing on, the film study stuff. When we're in there, I could see his intent to really focus on staying present within the meetings and hearing all the coaching tips and the coaching points. And again, that ability to be able to take that from the classroom and apply it the next day on the football field, he really has it.
And then in what ways has Malachi grown since the spring?
He's really coming into his own. I think he's starting to find his niche and his ability to fit within this offense. And I think I've challenged him, and he's accepted the challenge on doing the things that are difficult for him. The physical part of the game, staying on the football field, not just running verticals, but, the tough yards, the bubbles, the quick slants, like the contested catches, all of these things. I think he's done a good job of trying to focus on that when those moments come. And the only way you get that is from practicing that way. What's great about our defense and, going against, really good corners and good safeties, like Mal is getting the opportunity to really improve his game from practice.
David, and then last question to Brian.
Bobby, the other day in practice, at the beginning of practice, you got on the guys because, it was a drill, they weren't wearing their helmets and their helmets were just out of order. Just, what's the anatomy of your focus on just minutia details like that?
My favorite word, man. That's my favorite word. You should ask the receivers how to spell that. We talk about the minutia all the time in our classroom. So, it's the details that matter. It's the things that you think that really don't mean a big deal, but eventually they turn into something. Let's just try to give them a little order. I'm not really over the top about that, not super militant about that, but when you get a small moment like that, why not? Let's look like we know what we're doing, even when we don't, because there's times where we're not perfect, but if you're playing fast and it looks smooth, some people don't know. So I'm just trying to make sure that they understand that everything matters and the details matter for them, especially when it comes into the passing game. Timing, splits, depth of routes, all of these things are crucial when it comes to having an elite passing game.
Last question to Brian.
Romello before mentioned something about that you've helped him better understand his use of his time and being able to figure things out. How is that? What's that kind of relationship like?
Romello's a senior. Like, this is it for him. Like every rep matters, and I think that's what's important to him. So Coach Brennan talks about the right now. Like making the boys. Everybody wants to be present, but how do you be present? Do you focus on the right now? And so, every moment that I get with him, especially, I really try to make him focus on the moment. And same thing with T-Mac. Like, even if it's something simple like a walkthrough and the details, and you're trying to enact perfect form, even though we're not going fast, but just that mentality of focusing on your steps and your releases and your hand placement, your eye control, and then more importantly, just having fun in the moment. Like, this is going to pass you soon. You don't know what's next, but this is here now. Enjoy it.
All right.